this game like any other game. I'm going to try my best, work my hardest, and I'm not really looking at the score till the end of the game. I'm just worried about how hard I'm going to play and doing my job.
Well, I think our game against Timberlane is definitely going to help that mentality, at least, like letting them hang around and seeing them pass on us and just come back out of from nothing pretty much. You know, that's definitely going to help kids' mentality, or help our mentality as a whole team, just thinking like, wow, like even if we put it on these guys early with our run game and whatever we do, and having them really pressure like heavy defense, that, you know, think back, like we'll be thinking of Timberlane, thinking, well, how can these guys come back, and you know, and all that kind of stuff.
We have the same mindset as we do every week. You know, we don't take anything for granted. We don't take any of what we think the team's going to be like. That's just not who we are. We keep a mindset where everyone's really on the same ground, and it's just a battle. We got to go out and win. So that's just normal for us. It's now round 3 for us. So we're trying to go out in round 3, get the win, and go on to round 4.
I think when this new alignment or realignment came out and we picked up Bedford and Goffstown within the conference, it was very concerning, because it didn't look like there was going to be any teams that were down. You know, based on how things have gone for them for the first 2 weeks, I think people maybe are a little bit surprised. You know, I know that their coaching staff is really, really good. You know, I remember being an assistant going and playing at Goffstown the year that they won the championship, and you know, we competed with them but didn't win. You know, I don't know if BG has beaten Goffstown at any point. If they have, it hasn't been recently. So I personally am not taking anything for granted. You know, if we could go out, start fast again, can we put a full game together? Because I didn't feel like we did that obviously last week. So we have a lot to improve on. You know, how the kids react to it, I'm not sure. You know, I think that they acknowledge, you know, are you going up against an undefeated team late in the year compared to a team that's got a couple losses? I'm sure it's a little bit different, but, you know, hopefully they can take care of business early, and if things go the way that we'd like it to go, perhaps we end up able to get more kids in the game and get a look at some kids. But it's just going to have to be one play at a time, one quarter at a time, and hope we see some progress.
To go in this game strong, and especially the fact that I believe Coach Trish said that we haven't beat them in like a while, I guess, or have maybe at all since we've been in D1. So this will definitely be a huge win. We should definitely try to blow them out, and also work on our plays more, especially with the errors we had last game. So just work on errors, making plays better than we should be doing.
You know, we kind of have this mentality where it's almost like everyone dislikes BG. Like we're kind of the odd team out. So, and we've never beat Goffstown. We've never had the chance to go there. We never had the chance to go win against them for the last however many years, since like 2015 or something. We've been getting beaten up by them every year. So I think this is our chance to finally beat this program. You know, it's like every week is sort of a challenge, and I think for this one, our thing is beat the program. It's not so much this specific team, but show that, like, get it on record that, like, we've done something, that we've beat the team.
I would say it would definitely be a big thing, especially for Coach, because he had been on the staff previously when we had other teams, and they went up to Goffstown, and that was when Goffstown was in their championship era. So getting the win and, you know, making that score run up or whatever it is, you know, having us all on the same page with a great effort would be a big thing for Coach, and I think that's something we need to do this week.
Number 13, Madison Suazo carries for a 2-point conversion.
When you watch film and you try to point stuff up to him, point stuff out to him, and even during the game, you know, the effort was really good at times. But I see things too during the game and watching film where against a competitive team, it's going to be a problem. We try to let the kids know and try to reiterate to them that who we're playing, our opponent, can't dictate our effort or our necessarily our execution. So if it's a team that's really good, yes, we have to play at a high level and execute. And if it's a team that's not very good, well, we still have to play at a high level and execute. So you never want to play down to competition. You know, a lot of teaching moments for sure.
Let's go white, Peru! White! Let's go Peru! Let's go white, Peru!
Mostly, the mentality was going in, you know, just play it, see what happens. So, you know, like don't, you know, be overconfident or don't doubt them. Just like feel it out. So then once we started getting up, it was kind of like, all right, now let's score enough to where it's okay, and let's pull all the starters and let's get some other guys to look. So that was mostly the biggest thing, was to really get the lead and secure it, and then let everyone else get their shot.
Number 13, Max Suazo carries for the Bishop touchdown.
Not really last year. This is probably the first year like a game like that, especially like putting up those kind of numbers. I don't think we've put up those kind of numbers in a very long time. So just like in the game, just like focusing on like the right play and just like practice for like the next game.
You want to take care of business and you want to put the game away as fast as you can, and then when it's in hand, you know, we were trying to shorten the game, trying to get into running time as soon as we could. You know, there's no running time till the second half. You know, they scored on the opening kickoff, which all of a sudden now we're trying to get to the 35 points. Now you got to get to 42. You know, and then it's really just a matter of managing subs. So we're trying to get guys out. Again, not something that I've had an experience with to that extent. And then I was trying to make sure too, like when we get some of those kids out, like they're taking their pads off. So there's no chance that they can come back in, whether it's on special teams or a sub or sneak in there or whatever, you know. So it's just, you know, you're trying to manage things the best way possible, but, you know, still, like I said, trying to make sure that the opponent's not dictating, you know, how these kids play the game. Like we really have to play as well as possible no matter who's on the other side.
Come on, Billy! Get up, Billy! Get low!
Number 3, Cody Szymanski carries for the Bishop Guertin touchdown.
It's not fun. I mean, when you're a little kid, yes, it's fun killing a team, but when you're in high school and you want to play and you want some toughness and you don't want to like win every matchup, it is tough, but it's also good seeing the other kids go out there, seeing the kids get their varsity reps, and there's good and bad to it, is what I'll say.
Downhill, Billy!
sideline when kids were just making breakout runs, like Johnny Canaway and Sam Ronzio. So like it was definitely exciting. And then when Alec was going in to just get the ball, I mean, didn't turn out very good, but at least like he appreciated it, and I know it meant a lot to him. So I thought it was really cool what we did overall.
You know, I think there are some good things, you know, some kids getting their first touchdowns and getting their first reps, and, you know, at least like seeing what it's like to be on the field and maybe getting at least some of the nerves away. So when it's time for them to actually play in a big situation, they might be a little more comfortable. But games like those are always dangerous because some kids get mad, get upset about the score, and there's really nothing you can do about it when stuff like that happens. I mean, even our younger guys just kept getting lucky, really, and just getting these big, long runs. So.
I think it was a different experience than I've ever had. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good. I didn't feel good on Saturday. I didn't feel good leaving the game. You know, I think every game that we play, win or lose, as soon as the game's done, you try to absorb it, and then you try to go and watch the film and reflect on what you could do better. And this was no exception. Even though for the majority of the game we played really well, you know, I think there's a lot to take away from it. As far as if we're ever in that position again, how maybe we could handle things. It wasn't expected. You know, the kids played well at times. There was still, believe it or not, some things on film that I saw that I think that we need to correct. But, you know, to win a game, to win it big, and to get out of there with no new injuries, I think is really important. And it presents its own challenges coming into this week, because now we really got to put that behind us, and we got to get ready for what I think is going to be a very competitive game against Merrimack, at Merrimack, on a Friday night, and what's considered to be another big rivalry game.
And I don't think anyone on our team got it like, oh, we're so good, we beat this team by a lot, to where we have to worry. So I think going back to practice and working hard these next couple of days is what's really going to set us. And I don't think the score of that game changed us at all for the worst. I feel like we're at the same, and I don't think there should be any worries from that.
That game against Goffstown was already in the past as soon as we stepped on the bus. It was something we knew we had to move past right away because of it could mess with our mental. So as soon as, you know, that final score was official, that game like didn't exist anymore.
You know, I think it was honestly a good thing that the games happened those ways, because so a team where we thought we were going to just roll through and win handily, I mean, that's how it looked in the first half, Timberlane, and for them to come back that way and hang around and make it such a tight game in the end, and then for Goffstown, for them to have a lead on us in the very beginning, and then for us to respond and come back in that manner, I think it really showed both sides of the coin of what we could do and what could actually happen. So I think that it was kind of, those 2 weeks were a reality check of really like how high we can push it and how low we can go. So I really hope that that is a lesson for our whole team.
Since I've been here, we haven't done it. I know the year before I was the head coach, the score got way out of hand, and Merrimack won by a considerable amount. So it's not something that, you know, I'm taking lightly or taking in any other way other than I'd really like to go up there and win. You know, we'd like to win on the road again, and be able to win one in Merrimack for what I think is the first time in a while. I was an assistant on the BG staff, I think my first year coaching here, and we played them at Stello's. Merrimack won, so that would have been in that same time frame, 2012, 2013, and the Merrimack student section stormed the field. And it was really like culture for me. It was kind of trying to get to know, you know, the BG kind of community and the football program and how things worked. And I know there's a lot of people that are really shell-shocked about that. And Merrimack's been really good. You know, they've had a couple different coaches, and both of them have been outstanding. You know, it's another really good staff. I think when talking to the kids or listening to the kids sometimes, you know, you ask them about the rivalry stuff, and sometimes even like Londonderry comes up. Like, Londonderry is not a rival to us. We haven't beat them. We don't necessarily play them every year. You know, the rivalries are north, it's south. It's absolutely Merrimack, you know, and the way Keene's playing now to have to potentially, you know, we went there, I think, to Keene 3 years in a row. So I definitely view Merrimack as a massive rivalry game for us. And it's been pretty competitive over the last few years, and we got up on them a lot last year, and they came all the way back. And then a few games prior to that, they had some big time kids that went and played, you know, college football after that, and you know, they were very dominant.
Playing Merrimack definitely feels like a rival game. I know I've been on the field for the last like 2 years doing it, and something about it is just, it's different. Like you can tell it's a rivalry, even though there's nothing that really says like why this exactly is our rival. It's like we know it. It's just a feeling you get when you're out there on the field against them. And plus, it's always, especially during this week with energy so high, it really goes either way, regardless of who has like the better pound for pound guys or better stats. You know, it's always a toss up between this game. Like I know in the past years, like there was one, like we thought we were gonna win 2 years ago, and it went very far in the other direction. So it's always one of those games that we just unpredictable. That we know that we have to like ball out and we have to play our hardest.
Just Merrimack. I think it's every team we play against, because every team looks at us as a rival, and when that becomes into play, I play every game like it's our rival. So I'm not going and looking into this game more differently. I'm going into this game just wanting to win. And yes, it's a rival week, so the people not playing and the fans are going to look at this as a rivalry. So I want to make them satisfied. And so I'm really excited. Kids are going to play tough. It's going to be fun. And I really hope we win on their turf.
We use that to add more fuel to our fire. So it's rivalry week. We got to go out there and we got to beat our rival and show it on display. So I guess that's where we're at right now.
I was able to go watch them last week against South live, and I always feel like the film doesn't really do it justice in how big they might be in certain positions, how fast they might be, you know, how physical they can be at times. And they have some players. You know, the quarterback threw the ball very well and for multiple touchdowns. You know, they've got another big boy that they're playing at D end who they put in the slot. Sometimes he's at tight end, sometimes he's in the backfield. They return the running back, Merrimack does, from last year, who was very successful and is off to another really good start this year. So it presents a lot of challenges. I think what most coaches see is a big time difference in any games that are close is the turnovers. So Merrimack had a few turnovers last week against South, especially early in the game, which kept it kind of close. You know, we have to take care of the football. So I think that'll be a big emphasis.
I expect them to pass a lot. Their running game, we should be able to stop that. It's just definitely going to be a test for our DBs to just like work on our coverages, stop them, and just keep holding them there.
With passing, our pass coverage needs to be on point. And I feel like they've been working very hard. Coach Chandler has been giving them a lot of work, working them hard and making them tough kids. But the other side is how me, Rocco, and AJ are going to show up in the D-line. If they pass a lot, that means we get more times and we get more options to go and sack the quarterback. So I look at games against pass-heavy teams to be very exciting. I'm just ready to go out there and make a move on one of their tackles and go sack that kill.
It definitely could be a challenge. I think some guys on defense have to step up. I mean, I know the line, me, Jacob, and AJ got to apply more pressure and, you know, work our stuff, and we should have to trust everyone else in the DB and the linebacker field to do their jobs while we do ours.
Defensive standpoint, if they're up tempo, you know, I got to get the calls in faster, which I still think even when they're slow, you know, the team's slow on offense, I still probably have to get them in faster. So it's just another week of preparation, you know, making sure the calls get in, the kids get lined up, recognize formations. You know, we'll try to mimic some of that today in practice, but it's not very easy at all.
We just can't, we can't let up. We just need to keep going, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, work on our defense a lot, and just like hold them to 0 points if possible.
You know, I mean, we game plan for every team every week. Every team plays a little bit different, and sometimes you get lucky where you'll play 2 teams in a row that, you know, run a similar offense or a similar defense, so it's kind of like just a little shift from that week. But I think regardless, we'll be ready for it. You know, I mean, we know how they run. Like we see what they're doing. We have the film, and I think again, it just comes down to discipline. If you know your rules and know what you're supposed to do pretty much, then we'll be good.